All right, folks, we are live. Welcome to my weekly Sunday live stream where I answer your questions. Thanks so much for being here as always. I really do appreciate it. It really means the world to me. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching my videos. These videos have just been performing incredibly well as of late. And it's just been so fun, man. I feel really good with these videos. And man, it's just really cool to share the music and share the art and share the gear with everybody. And once again, I really appreciate everybody's support so much. It always takes a little bit to kind of get a crowd going here with these live streams. But, once again, these live streams are all about you guys. So whatever questions you guys have for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. Those that are regular viewers know this. They know the drill now at this point. But always really look forward to doing these. This is always a lot of fun going live here on YouTube. It's always interesting to see where the conversation goes. I can't believe, I was making the title for this live stream. I can't believe I've done 39 of these now at this point. It's just really unbelievable, man. It's crazy to think about, and even just how long that I've been doing YouTube too. I mean, it's just amazing to think about. It's already been a couple years now I've already been doing this. So it's been really cool, and it's completely changed my career. And I'm so thankful to all the fans and all the viewers out there. Man, it just really means the world to me, your support. And I cannot do this without you guys. So if you guys would like to support me in this channel, be sure to check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. There are many ways that you can support me in this channel. I offer one-on-one online lessons, and all of these lessons are shot in a 4K camera, and it's all pro audio. And what's so cool with these lessons is that you'll actually get a recorded copy of the lesson itself at the very end, so you could just simply download the video and rewatch it as many times as you want. So for more information on this, hit me up at jkm4231@gmail.com. That's jkm4231@gmail.com. It's also linked down below in the description box. That is also my personal email as well. So I have a lot of viewers that email me questions, or they just want to show their support and just say, hey, I really like this video or whatever. So you can reach me there at that email if you want some more information on these lessons or just for general inquiries. I do also have an Instagram page as well, and I'm pretty bad at promoting the Instagram page. But if you do Instagram, go and follow me on there. It's Justin FN Meyers. So Justin FN Meyers is my username on there. So be sure to go follow me on there. And those other links down there, I have a Venmo and a PayPal tip jar. So if you want to throw a little love in the tip jar, it just helps me out. Again, these live streams, as I've mentioned in the past, are truly a donation of time. I don't make anything off these live streams. I just want to show my appreciation to everybody out there that watch my videos. And it's just been really cool to connect with everybody here online. It's a really cool way to do this, and just give thanks to all the fans out there that follow me and support me. So if you want to throw a little love in the Venmo or the PayPal tip jar, again, any and all support is really appreciated. And then I also do have a Sweetwater music affiliate link as well. And this is really cool. I just gave Sweetwater Music my top picks for some of my favorite gear that they sell. I mean, they sell so much gear there. It is just unbelievable, the amount of gear that they sell. So I kind of wanted to just narrow it down to like 2 pages of gear, but there's a lot of stuff that they sell that I really love as well. But I just kind of wanted to give them my top picks, but if you click that link and say that you're looking to buy like a deluxe reverb or something like this, or Noble's ODR1, or literally anything, it could be anything. I just get a small little commission off the sale. It doesn't cost you guys anything extra whatsoever. Again, it's just a cool way to support me in this channel. It doesn't cost you guys anything extra. So if you're already looking to buy some kind of gear, again, it's just a cool way to support me, and I just get a small little commission off the sale. But let's see here. We have Soldano in the house. Hey, man, what's going on? Nice to see you. Says here, always appreciate your videos, Justin. Thanks so much, man. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate your support, and keep kicking ass, man. You're doing great. So Soldano here, folks, is a part of my lesson program as well, and he's doing really great. And keep it up, man, for sure. Nice to see you here, for sure. Thanks so much for being here. But Yeah, folks. So again, if you guys want to support me, check out all of the links down below in the description box. There are many ways you can support me. Again, this is a donation of time. I just go live here and hang out with you guys. And again, it's a really cool way to connect with everybody that watch my videos. But yesterday I posted a video talking about the Fender Deluxe Reverb Tone Master amp. And, I've been getting this amp a lot on Backline lately for these gigs that I've been on. And I've just noticed a huge uptick in getting these Tone Master Deluxe reverbs, and it really makes a lot of sense why these Backline companies are using these Deluxe Reverb Tone Masters, because they're just very consistent. They're very reliable. I still prefer the tubed, this straight up reissue Deluxe Reverb. But man, I've got to say, like, there's some pretty cool features on that amp, and man, they're very light. I mean, they have an XLR direct out, and just like I mentioned in the video there, normally for me, whenever I'm playing live, I like to take a direct line, an XLR out to front of house and monitors, just to get that direct punch where there's no bleed, there's no anything getting into that line like there would be an actual live microphone, but I still like the sound of a live microphone. So what I like to do is I like to blend the direct line with the live microphone line. Now, when you do this, your sound guy has to make sure that both of the signals are going at the exact same time. They're both in phase. So that's kind of the thing that you want to be sure to look out for, because the direct line is going to be a little bit different in comparison to the live microphone. So you want to make sure that they are both in phase, but when they are in phase, it sounds very, very good. So this is my preferred way to have my live guitar sound. I like the direct line again because you just don't get any bleed, you don't get any interference, and nothing in the way of your guitar signal. But I do also like the live microphone because, again, you get this warm, fat kind of guitar tones coming off that speaker, and it just adds life to the signal. It just really kind of adds this airy kind of quality to the guitar tone. So that's what I like to do. But man, those Deluxe Reverb Tone Masters, I've got to say, they're pretty impressive. They are a little bit different, like I was saying in the video. They're not as dynamic as the tubed Deluxe Reverb, but I've got to say, man, it's pretty good. It's really not bad. And if I had just one choice for a digital amp solution, that would absolutely be the choice for sure. But let's see. Soldano says here, your videos, as well as some other gigging players, were part of why I bought my Deluxe Reverb reissue. The Tone Master sounds like a great option with the XLR out. Yeah, definitely. For sure, man. I mean, that's really cool. That Deluxe Reverb reissue, man, that's really all you need. I mean, it's a great amp. But, if you wanted that XLR out with that Deluxe Reverb reissue, something that I used to do all the time with those, man, is I would take a Palmer PDI-09 is the box, and then there's also another one called a Radial JDX. And what you could do is you could take, so basically what this box is it gives you this XLR, and it's basically like a cab sim. But how it works is that you run a speaker cable from the amp's output to the in of the JDX or the Palmer, and then you run your speaker through. So again, you still have your speaker, and you have to have both connections, connected there. You can't, just use this direct box and have no stage volume. It has to see a speaker. It has to see a load. But man, they work great. I think I actually may have one here. Let's see. Yeah, I got it right here actually. So this is the new updated version of the Palmer, but this is basically what it is here. I'll try to get that to focus. So there's the XLR, and then here's the Palmer. Just a simple device. But what's cool, try to get this to focus. Let's see. Here we go. So what's cool with this is that it also has an attenuation as well. So you could set it on, 30 dB, 15, or 0, as you see there. And then there's a couple different tone options there, just to alter the actual speaker sim sound. But the way that it works is that you take a speaker cable, plug out of the, the speaker output, which is where like your speaker would normally plug into, unplug that connector and plug it up into this, and then run your speaker cable to your actual physical speaker through this. And then you have the XLR out here. So this is a really cool box, man. It works really good. And these things sound great, man. I absolutely love these Palmers and, the Radial JDX box, man. They just work great. So that's something that I like to do whenever I, don't have that XLR out. And so that's a way around it, for your Deluxe Reverb reissue. You could just set that on top of your amp and get that XLR out. So, but yeah, it's definitely cool that it's already built into that Tone Master. Oh, man. I'm dragging a little bit this morning. Let's see here. Soldano says here, does the Tone Master handle pedals as well as the tube version? Yes. So that's the thing is it handles pedals really well. I wouldn't say it's exactly the same as the tube Deluxe Reverb. Again, because, when you're running through glass, you have the tubes. It's just a warmer sound and it's much more dynamic, like I was saying in the video. But it does handle pedals very well. And that's what I think I like about that solution so much, is that, again, since it is a Deluxe Reverb, you're most likely going to run an actual pedal board with it. So, you can use your analog drive pedals and all your analog pedals. And, man, I mean, for me, I use the guitar volume knob all the time, as I mentioned in the video. So it really responds well because I'm actually using real analog drives. Now, the amp itself is digital, so that's where it is a little bit different. But again, it's really, you're really setting this amp clean and you're using analog drives. So that's why I like it and that's why it works for me. And really another thing is like with those quad cortexes and the Kempers and all this stuff, I don't like the drive sounds in those things because you have that digital sound, man. It's not analog, it's that harsh high-end thing that all digital devices do. But yeah, I've got to say, man, the Tone Master Deluxe Reverb, it really works great. You're really setting it clean, maybe a little bit of breakup, and the breakup's going to be a little bit different again in comparison to the tubed Deluxe Reverb. But man, it works. It takes pedals really well and just sounds great, man. So I think that is absolutely hands down the best solution out there for a digital amp for sure. But let's see here. William is in the house. Hey, William, what's going on? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, hi, what's going on? Thanks so much for being here once again. But yeah, folks, once again, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer. I always love doing these live streams. Again, thank you so much, everybody out there, for watching my videos. We were just talking a little bit about the Fender Deluxe Reverb Tone Master, if you are just joining us here today. It's a really cool amp and works really well. And I've been getting these amps a lot on Backline lately, and it just really makes a lot of sense, man, honestly. I've been pretty impressed, honestly. And I really do not like digital amps whatsoever normally, But that Tone Master is definitely not bad. Let's see. William says here, I just picked up a 45-watt Fender bass breaker. It's good. Many real good tones. Awesome, man. That's cool. Very cool. Enjoy. Let's see here. Soldano says here, what are your favorite strings to use with your ES335 and ES330? Man, in general, I really like the D'Addario NYXLs, the 10s. If I'm doing a lot of playing, if I'm playing, like 6 gigs in a week or something like this, and, maybe there's a couple of them that are longer gigs, and then I'm doing a couple 90-minute sets or whatever, I actually will go down to a set of 8s just to save my fingers because with playing so much, man, my fingers just get chewed up, man, and ripped up. When you're playing for that many hours, man, and you have that many gigs, I have to think about my fingers and, making sure that they're not too ripped up to play because obviously I have a lot of gigs on the books. So it just depends on what my schedule is, but I normally prefer the NYXLs, the 10s for sure on a Gibson instrument, and especially on a 335. On a 330 right now, I've been kind of experimenting. I haven't actually changed the strings on that yet, but it was already strung up with flat wounds actually, and man, I really like it actually. It sounds really, really good. But in general, I do like the NYXLs. I think they are just the most consistent strings out there. I used to use Ernie Ball strings, but I had a lot of issues with their strings, and man, like I would be on stage and my D string would all of a sudden just break, or my B string would break, and their strings have a lot of kinks in the strings, I've noticed. And what's funny is, like, at first I was thinking like, oh, maybe I have like a burr at the bridge or something, or there's something that's like, poking at the string that's causing it to break. But it's just not, man. It's actually the string itself from Ernie Ball. And I found this out because I switched over to the D'Addario NYXLs. And man, on the same instrument, same everything, I never broke that D string. I never broke a string ever again. They are hands down the most consistent strings out there. And I am just completely sold on them, man. They work great. I have never broke a D'Addario NYXL on stage ever. To this point, I've never broken one ever. And I've been using them for years now at this point. So pretty crazy, man, for sure. But definitely the NYXLs, man. And, again, I'm not sponsored by them. I mean, I would love to be sponsored by them to get free strings, because I go through them so much. But I don't have a deal with them. I actually buy them with my own money. And that's just my honest opinion, man. I just absolutely love those NYXLs. I think they work great. And those strings are absolutely perfect, man. There's no kinks in them. There's no BS with them, like there are with Ernie Balls. Those strings just drove me nuts, man. And I used them for a long time. And I just was like, to hell with it, man. I'm trying these D'Addarios. And, man, I'm so glad I made that move, man, because the Ernie Ball strings are just nowhere near as good as they used to be, for sure. Let's see. William says here, how often do you change strings? What is your routine for the most part? Man, how often do I change strings? Man, I try to get, I don't know. If I'm doing like 6 gigs in a week, I normally try to just use the set throughout the entire week, and then afterward I'll change them, because at that point the strings are just shot. But if I'm doing like maybe 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 gigs, I can leave them on. For me, I like the sound of worn in strings. I like that warmer tone. When you have fresh strings, it's much brighter, and it's a different tone, which is good, and I like it, But actually, I like the sound of older strings, that have some wear on them. It's a warmer tone for sure. So I don't really like to change them all that often. But definitely, man, if I have like a week of like 6 gigs, I'm definitely going to be changing them out at the end of the week for sure. It just really depends on my schedule. And like I was saying earlier, like, if I'm also playing a lot, I normally like to go down in string gauge. So instead of using 10s, I'll normally go down to 8s actually, just because the string is so much thinner, and there's just so much less wear on my fingers, So it really just depends. But what is your routine for the most part? I mean, I don't know what you mean by that. What is your routine? I guess maybe just how often. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Let's see. Yes, they are great strings. Yeah, definitely. And we have Jerk Carey in the house. Hey, man, what's going on? Long time no see. Says here, you are in trouble when there is crud on your G string. Hi from Ireland. Thanks so much for being here, man. Appreciate it. That's awesome, man. Very cool. All the way from Ireland, man. That's awesome. Very cool. It just amazes me, the reach here on YouTube, man. It is just incredible. It's just amazing. I mean, people from Ireland, from Australia that join up here on the live streams. I mean, it's just awesome. So thanks so much for being here. And we have John in the house. Hey, John, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. Says here, I really like the D'Addario 25 sets in the box. You can pull out any string you need. Yeah, man, same. That's always how I buy them, They're not cheap, but, man, it's great, because there's 25 sets in that box. And just like you say, man, I mean, If you need a B string, if you need a D string, whatever, it's all right there, So that's how I have it set up in the Tone Garage. But yeah, they work great, man. I love those strings, man. They're just awesome. And like I was saying, I had a lot of issues with the Ernie Ball strings. I had been using those for quite a while, and I was using just the regular Slinkies, and I just kept breaking them on stage, man. It was like just constantly. I was like, what the hell? And like I was saying earlier, I figured, oh, well, maybe there's a burr in the bridge or something, or, there's something getting at that string that's causing it to break. But it was nothing to do with the instrument. It was the string itself, because once I made the switch to the NYXLs, I never broke another string again. So I'm convinced that there's something weird going on with their strings nowadays, man. They just don't make them nowhere near as good as they used to, for sure. And the D-Dario, man, they are just perfect, And again, I'm not sponsored by them. I buy them with my own money. So take it or leave it. I'm just sharing just sharing with you guys, my honest opinion about them. So, but anyways, thanks everybody so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If you guys would like to support me in this channel, be sure to check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. There are many ways you can support me here in this channel. If you want to throw a little love in the Venmo tip jar or the PayPal tip jar, or even a super chat here in today's live stream, any and all support is really appreciated. This is truly a donation of time here on YouTube. I barely make anything here on YouTube with these videos, and especially the live streams. This is truly a donation of time. I make absolutely nothing on this. So if you guys would like to support me, feel free to throw a little love in the Venmo tip jar or the PayPal tip jar, or even a super chat here. I do also offer one-on-one online lessons as well. And these lessons are absolutely amazing. It's all shot on a 4K camera with pro audio. And what is so cool with these lessons is that you'll actually get a recorded copy of the lesson itself at the very end. So you could just simply download the video and rewatch it as many times as you want. Excuse me. So for more information on this, hit me up at jkm4231@gmail.com. That is my personal email. It's linked down below in the description box. Thanks so much. And we have Soft Southern Night in the house. Hey, man, thanks so much for being here, man. Thank you for that super chat. That really means the world to me, man. You are a huge supporter of me. And, man, I really do appreciate so much, man. Honestly, that is just awesome. But he says here, I leave my old strings on my 71 D18 as it sounds good with old strings. Yeah, definitely. Man, I totally agree. I love the sound of old strings. It's a warmer tone, and especially on acoustic. When you have completely brand new strings, man, at first, like, especially with the acoustic pickup, man, it's so bright and so just gnarly at first. So it always takes a little bit. I always try to work in the acoustic strings for sure. And, again, I've talked about it many times, but these acoustic pickups are just garbage, They really do not sound good either. They really change the sound of the acoustic guitar. But especially when you have brand new strings with that acoustic pickup, oh, man, it's just awful. So at least it warms up the tone a bit when you work in those strings for sure. But that's awesome, man. 71 D18, that's awesome. I'd love to hear it. Very cool. Thanks again for that super chat, man. Seriously, God bless you, man. That's awesome. Thank you. And we also have, let's see here, from William, a PayPal tip. Thanks so much, William. Really do appreciate that, man. If you have any questions, man, let me know. Thank you so much. Seriously, really do appreciate that. But yeah, folks, once again, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer. And thank you, everybody, so much for all the support. Seriously, I cannot say enough, just how much I really appreciate everybody's support, with all these tips and, just the beautiful emails I receive all the time from all the viewers and all the fans. And, man, it is just wonderful, man. It is so cool what YouTube has done for my career. It's completely changed my life, and it's all because of you guys. So again, thank you so much for all the support. Let's see. Soft Southern Night says here, harmonica mic, no pickup needed. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's always my preferred way, is to actually mic up the acoustic. But I'm just saying, like, for my J45, for example, whenever I'm playing live, I have to use the pickup, so, I just don't want to mic up the acoustic live because I could just see that being an absolute nightmare, with all kinds of feedback and all kinds of BS, and trying to get that to cut in a mix, man, is just hard. So the pickup is definitely the way to go for live. But I was more just saying about my J45, not about your Martin. So, yeah. But let's see here. Jerk Harry says here, compressor before or after drive? For me, I like it before, but there's some people that like it after, and some people will actually put it at the very end of their pedal board just to try to simulate, like, if you're plugged up to like an 1176 or something like this, because obviously the compressor would be after your entire guitar signal, obviously, and after the microphone, so, there's some people that like to do that, but, I like it before, man. Honestly, it doesn't really bother me. I normally just leave it on all the time. Like I was talking about in my recent video with that Fender Deluxe Reverb Tone Master. I normally just leave it on all the time just because that is a digital amp and it's a solid state amp. So what's cool with using a compressor is that you just get a little bit more out of the amp, and it just kind of recreates what a tube amp would do, because you get the, compression. And that's kind of the big problem with a lot of digital stuff and a lot of the, new technology, is it just doesn't compress the same way, So I like to really use that Ross compressor in particular, and I'll just leave it on just to kind of get a little bit more out of the amp and just to get a little bit of compression, out of it. And just to try to simulate what a tube amp would do, And then from there, I'll just use my drives and whatever, so. But there's really no right or wrong way, I also use compression too if I'm playing the chicken picking stuff, just to kind of even out everything, and once again just get a little bit more out of the amp, when I'm going in for the the chicken picking stuff. So, and Jerk Carey says thank you, man, appreciate it. And we have Jimmy in the house. Hey Jimmy, what's going on, man? Thanks so much for being here. He says here, hey Justin, good tip on the 23-pound Fender Tone Master Deluxe. Your review cuts out a lot of the legwork. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a pretty handy little amp, man, to be honest. I've thought about, getting one just to have it on hand, because there's a lot of cool features with that thing for sure. I already have a tubed Deluxe Reverb reissue, so I don't know. I do prefer that still over the Tone Master, but it's definitely pretty handy for sure, man. And, again, I mean, for a digital amp, man, that would absolutely be my choice, and I get questions from people and emails all the time from people asking me like, oh man, if you only, could choose one digital amp, what would you get, this and that? And I was just like, man, to hell with it. I'm just going to make a YouTube video and just talk about it. And, I get those a lot now for backline, like I was saying in the video, there's a lot of these backline companies now that are switching over to those Tone Master Deluxe reverbs, and it totally makes sense. I could totally see why they're doing it. It's consistent. They require very little servicing, if any at all. I mean, maybe a little contact cleaner here and there on the pots, but really other than that, that's it. It's not like you have to retube it or you have to, service anything, It just makes a lot of sense. So, and they're very affordable. Let's see here. CZ's in the house. Hey, CZ, what's going on? Thanks so much for being here. She says here, hey, Justin, with a heart emoji. What's going on? Thanks so much for being here. And let's see here. We have RC Cola in the house. Hey, man, what's going on? How are you? Thanks so much for being here. It says here, hey, Justin, I am a big fan of the late, great Ace Frehley, just like you are. Is there a Kiss song or two of his you think of when you think of Ace? For me, probably Shock Me, Rocket Ride, Strange Ways. Yeah, man. That, and by the way, folks, I was just so devastated to hear about Ace Frehley's passing, man. It's I'm still a little shook up about it, man, honestly. I just have been in a weird funk, like, ever since hearing that, to be honest. I was just devastated. I mean, I'm such a huge Ace Frehley fan. I love his playing, and I love his personality. And he was such a huge influence on me in my playing, and his music will live on forever, and his playing will live on forever. It just still doesn't seem real that he passed away. It's just crazy. I watch videos all the time of Ace, and I was really hoping to go see him live, but I just, really missed out. I wish I would have been able to see him live, for sure. But is there a Kiss song or two that you think of? Yeah, I mean, definitely Shock Me. That riff is such a Ace Frehley riff, how he bends that F sharp into the G with the open strings. It's cool, man. That's a really cool riff. And that is such a Ace Frehley move. And I really like Parasite too, man. I love that song. I think it's badass. That riff is sick. And I love it, man. I mean, I just love his playing, man. And I think that guitar solo that he did in, I believe it was in Japan, was the video that I reacted to. That solo and that guitar tone is just absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, in my video that I did, for whatever reason, I don't know what the hell happened, but when I uploaded the video, it added a slapback delay to his guitar tone. And I have no idea why the hell that happened, because when I was editing and making the video, there was no slapback delay. So I don't know what the hell happened, but it ended up doing so well. I just said to hell with it. I'm just going to leave it alone, And so I don't know, it's really weird, but there is a video on YouTube of that solo, and you guys should really go check that out, man, because, man, the guitar tone and his playing was just ferocious, man. I mean, just unbelievable playing. Just incredible. And, man, I think when Ace was in his, 20s, 30s, man, when he was, younger, and, man, he was really playing a lot, man, he was just on top, man. Just an amazing player. Still, even to this day, I still love his playing, but his playing has changed a little bit over the years, I think. But, man, back in the day, man, he was just amazing and still is amazing. I love Ace. But let's see. Jimmy says here, I'm a tube guy too, but dependability and weight are important considerations. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And that is the thing with those Fender Deluxe Reverb Tone Masters, is they are very reliable. And man, like if you're doing a lot of gigs like in town, or you're going downtown somewhere or something, and you don't want to lug around a Deluxe Reverb reissue that weighs, 45 pounds or whatever, that Tone Master, I don't know how heavy they are. I don't know if they are 23 pounds, if that is for sure, like you were saying. If it is 23 pounds, I mean, that's like half the weight, So, that's a great option, for a gig like that. If you're going downtown or something and you have to haul something, you have to kind of, there's a little bit of a walk, to get to the venue, man, you could throw that thing down and that's it. So, pretty cool. But let's see here. John says here, I'm 62 and Ace's death hit me real hard. 78 Love Gun Tour was my first concert. Wow, no way, man. That's so cool. 78 Love Gun Tour was your first concert, man. Wow, what a first concert, man. Wow. But yeah, it really has hit me hard too, man. Honestly, it still doesn't seem real, It's just such a shame, man. Honestly, it's just devastating, And honestly, it's so frustrating to me that Gene and Paul couldn't have Ace on the final tour. I mean, really? Like, you really can't work out your differences. You really can't figure something out and have Ace Frehley on the final effing tour, man. And, with him passing away, man, like, it just makes me even more frustrated at Gene and Paul for them to not have Ace on the effing final tour, man. Like, what the hell, It just makes me so frustrated, man. And, it is such BS. Like, they really couldn't have figured something out, It's just so frustrating to me, and it makes literally no sense, I mean, and especially now that Ace has passed on, man, has passed away, like, it's just made me so frustrated, I was frustrated back when they were doing the final tour and Ace wasn't going to be a part of it, but now I'm even more pissed. But so frustrating, you know. I don't know what the hell their problem is, but whatever. Jimmy says here, I grew up in the same neighborhood as Peter Chris. His family had a shoe store my buddy worked at as a kid. We were fortunate to see Kiss a bunch of times, small clubs and MSG, December 78. Wow, that's crazy, man. That must have been so cool to see them in a small club, man. That must have been really, really just wild. Man, I wish I was alive back in those days, man. That must have been just so fun. That's really, really cool. Really, really wild. And William says here definitely makes no sense. Yeah, I totally agree, man. I mean, it makes zero sense why they couldn't have had Ace on the final tour, you know? And it's so frustrating, you know, but is what it is, unfortunately. You know, it's sad, but let's see here. We've been going about 36 minutes now at this point. Thank you guys so much for all the support and all the tips and everything and all the questions and all the comments. We've had some great engagement here in today's live stream. So again, thanks so much for all of this and thanks so much for being here. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. You know, these live streams are all about you guys and what you want out of them. If you guys would like to support me in this channel, once again, I do have several links linked down below in the description box. If you want to throw a little love in the Venmo or the PayPal tip jar, or even a super chat here in today's live stream, any and all support is really appreciated. These live streams are truly a donation of time. I make absolutely nothing on these live streams, so you know, I really need your support. So if you could check out those links down below. You know, once again, I do offer one-on-one online lessons. These lessons are all shot on a 4K camera, and it's all pro audio. And again, what is so cool with these lessons is that you'll actually get a recorded copy of the lesson itself. So I think that these are actually better than actual real in-person physical lessons because you can actually get a recorded copy of the lesson itself. And the technology with this stuff is just absolutely amazing. I mean, it works flawlessly, you know. I teach people from all over the world, and it's literally as if we are sitting in, you know, real time. It literally is. I mean, we're in real time. You know, it's literally as if we're sitting right next to each other. You know, it's crazy. There's no glitching up. There's no freezing up. No anything. But for more information on this, hit me up at jkm4231@gmail.com. That is my personal email, and it's also linked down below in the description box. Let's see here. Musical Companion is in the house. Hey, what's going on? How are you? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, I know you're a vintage pickup guy, but I just installed a set of EMG retro active single coils. I highly recommend to try them out. Just food for thought. Cool. Yeah, I'm not a big EMG guy. I don't really like the sound of those, you know. It's just not really my thing. It's not what I go for, you know. My ears are really, you know, sensitive to any kind of changes, you know, and at this point, like, I have this stuff so dialed in as to what I like and what I don't like that I just really don't want to change up anything, you know. To me, I love the sound of those old patent number pickups. You know, I think they are just the greatest pickups ever, honestly. And, you know, I've talked about this many times here on the channel and in previous videos, but I actually like them better than the long magnet PAFs. And, you know, it may be controversial to say this, and don't get me wrong, I do like long magnet PAFs, but they're all over the place. You know, there are some that I've played that are absolutely just incredible. They sound so good. It's just unbelievable. But I would say, honestly, that the majority of those long magnet PAFs do not really sound very good, to be honest with you. I think once they go to the short magnet PAFs and then they go to the patent number, which, again, patent number is the same thing as the short magnet PAFs, they just sound absolutely amazing. They're very consistent. I have not played a set of those pickups that I did not like. There's a certain readout that I really like. There's a certain output that I want to see. And I'm telling you, man, like, they are so consistent. They are so good sounding. It's just unbelievable. So I just swear by those pickups. And I think what makes those pickups so good are those old magnets. They still have not been able to find out what those old magnets were made of, what kind of material. I don't know exactly what it is about those old magnets. There's just something about those old magnets, man, that just really, really sound good. And I'm convinced that it is the magnets. It's not the wire. It's not anything else. It's literally the magnets. And, with these custom bucker pickups, they've not been able to do any reverse engineering to figure out what these magnets are made of, and they're just not the same sounding pickups. They're just not. I mean, they can claim that they're exactly the same as a PAF or whatever, but they're just not, because the magnets are different, and I'm just convinced, man, it's those old magnets that really make those pickups so good. Oh, man, struggling this morning. But yeah, that's cool though. I mean, I'm glad that you're enjoying those, EMGs. That's awesome. To each their own, and that's the biggest thing, with all this. Like, it really depends on the player. It depends on the person, and everybody hears things differently. That's what makes every player, every musician different. It's what you are hearing in your head, and, that's just what makes everybody different. Once again, you may really like EMGs. I don't really like EMGs. It's not my thing. I like the old pickups, man. I mean, some people like the new custom buckers, so to each their own. But Jimmy says here, in full makeup too, LOL. Wow. That's incredible, man. Even back in those days, playing like small clubs, man, they were doing the full makeup and everything. Man, that's so cool. Yeah, it's just so cool, like, how creative those guys were, like, to come up with each personality, like Ace was the spaceman, obviously, and, Paul with his makeup, and Gene with his makeup. Like, it's just so cool how each guy had their own, identity. And that is something that is just really gone from today's day and age, with these bands. Like, nobody has their favorite, band member, whether it's the lead guitar player or the drummer or the bass player or the singer. Like, nobody does that kind of stuff anymore. And man, it was just such forward thinking. Like, they were all unique and all different, man. And what still just blows my mind is, back in those days, like, it just blows my mind how all of the players too all sounded different. Like, whenever I hear Ace play, just on a record, not even in a video where I'm actually physically watching him, I can identify that it's Ace playing, because it's just his sound, man. He has such a unique sound and so much personality in his playing and so much attitude, and it's just amazing to me how back in those days, nobody sounded like one another. They were all different, man. Ace sounded different from, Jimmy Page, and, all these players just all sounded different. And I just think that's so cool, It's just amazing to me. But let's see here. William says here, when were your custom buckers made? The 50s. So custom buckers would be the reissue Gibson pickups that they put in, like the R9s and the R8s and all this stuff. So those are new pickups, but the patent number pickups were made in the 60s. So PAFs, like 61, they go to the short magnets, and then, you start seeing the patent numbers. I'm trying to think, what was it, 63, I think, if I remember correctly. I think 63 off the top of my head. I can't remember exactly the year, maybe 62, but they switch over to patent numbers, but those are the same thing as, the PAFs with the short magnet, and again, to me, I find those pickups to just be absolutely amazing. They are hands down the absolute best, and they're very consistent, and that's what I have now in my reissue guitars as well. I've taken all of that BS out, man. I've taken the custom buckers out, the new pots, the new caps, all of that shit, and it's all been completely replaced, man, and it's just amazing what it has done for these instruments. I mean, I modified literally everything. I have a reissue 335, completely modified that. I have 2 patent numbers in there, and I have a wiring harness from 64 that's from a 335 with the original pots and caps in there. And I also have the no-line cloisons as well. And man, it's just amazing what a difference, that has made in that instrument. It's just been incredible. So I've got that, and then I've got my R9 that I've modified as well, 2 patent numbers, and an actual 57 wiring harness that's from a Les Paul, which is pretty wild, and that has the original pots and the caps. And I also have a set of 59 cloisons, and man, it just, again, what a difference, man. It just sounds amazing. So really, really happy with that. But I'm just convinced that the old pickups, it's just those magnets, man. That's what makes those so good, in my opinion. And these new custom buckers, they have not been able to do any kind of simple reverse engineering to figure out what the hell is going on with these magnets. And I'm convinced that that's what makes those pickups so good. Let's see. I have them in my R8 2020. Yeah, the custom buggers. Yeah, it's a new pickup. And let's see. William says here, nice, awesome. Can I get all of that stuff and put them in my 58? I just need to track them down. Yeah, I mean, the pad numbers and stuff, I mean, they're out there. They're just very expensive. They're really hard to come by. And especially for a particular reading, that I really like, but I'm keeping that for myself. Let's see. John says here, I'm jealous. Must have been awesome seeing them in a club. I'm super pissed they didn't even have Ace and Pete up there for that last show in MSG for at least one song. Now it's too late. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I think it is such BS, man, that they couldn't have had Ace and Peter up there. Even, like you say, just for one song. I mean, you really can't just get along for one song and set aside your differences. Like, I thought that was just terrible, and to be honest with you, I think Ace and Peter should have been on the entire final tour, in my opinion. But, it is what it is. Yeah, you're right. It's too late, which is sad, Let's see. Scott from South Carolina is in the house. Hey, man, what's going on? How are you? Says here, Justin, have your vintage magnets lost voltage from the original specs? I mean, that's a possibility, I don't really care, though. I don't really think about it like that. I just listen, and if I like the way it sounds, I like the way it sounds, I think it's just in my opinion, again, with those old pickups, what make them so good is the old magnets, and just in general, whatever is going on with those magnets, they are just amazing, and they're so much better than the reissue custom buckers. I cannot stand the custom buckers, man. They do not sound good. There's so much low end, and they're way, way too hot, man. And I can't stand those. But anyways, let's see, about 48 minutes here now. It's crazy, man. These live streams always just fly by. But thanks so much, everybody, for being here. I really do appreciate it once again. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer, And if you guys would like to support me in this channel, check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. There are many ways you can support me here in this channel. And, if you want to throw a little love in the Venmo or the PayPal tip jar, or even a super chat here in today's live stream, any and all support is really appreciated. These live streams are truly a donation of time. I don't make anything on this whatsoever. I just donate my time because I like to hang out with you guys and show my appreciation to everybody out there that watch my videos. These videos have just been performing incredibly well as of late. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. And it still just blows my mind, just the reach, like I was talking about earlier. I mean, I get people here on these live streams that are from all over the world. My lesson program, I teach people from all over the world, and it's all from YouTube. It's just mind-blowing to think about. I just make these videos here, and man, it's just amazing how well that they perform, and it's just been so cool to make so many new friends, with doing this. And again, I cannot do this without your support. So if you guys would like to support me, again, check out all the links down below. I do offer one-on-one online lessons, and it's all shot on a 4K camera. It's all pro audio. And, again, I'm teaching people from all over the world. It's just been incredible what that has turned into. It's completely changed my career, and it's just been amazing. So, again, check out all of that stuff if you guys would like to support me. And if you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. Let's see. Jimmy says here, a lot of guys look down their noses at those guys for their comic book personas, but Ace pulled in the guitar guys, and they were fully committed to their vision. I guess it paid off. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just so cool how each guy had their own persona, their own identity. It's just awesome, man. I think that is so cool, and you just don't see that anymore, because a lot of these artists, they just hire on these musicians, and it's this revolving door of just random guys or girls coming and going constantly, and it's just not the same. I think when you do that, and it's an actual band, and everybody's an equity member, and each guy has their own persona, where the fan can really latch on to one band member. I think that is really cool. And again, it's just something that is just simply gone from today's music, And it's just amazing to me how creative those guys were, I mean, with the makeup and just, again, their identities. Like, it's just so cool. And I just would imagine, back in those days, like, nobody even knew what they actually physically looked like, because they always had their makeup on. So it adds that extra layer of, like, man, what do these guys actually look like? Like, I have no idea. I just know them as, the spaceman. I know Ace is the spaceman. I know Gene is the demon, and this and that. And it's just so cool to me. It was so creative, it's so forward thinking, man. It's just amazing. And, Ace was an amazing player, man. Like I was saying, I think in his prime, man, when he was touring a lot and he was, a bit younger, man, he was playing his ass off, and his guitar tone was just amazing, man. Amazing. And Ace was hands down my favorite member of the band for sure. I mean, he's just amazing. So his personality, just everything, his playing is just awesome. But CZ says here, glad to be part of your channel. So proud of you over the last couple of years. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I've definitely gotten, better at doing this. I had no idea what the hell I was really doing when I got started with doing this. I had never made a video. And I didn't really do social media at all, like before YouTube. So it was all very new to me at first. But I've learned a lot more about it. And, I really appreciate everybody's support so much. It's amazing. I see so many familiar names on here, like CZ and Jimmy and John. So many people have been with me throughout this entire journey. So, it's just been really cool. And I really, again, do appreciate it so much. And, it's just amazing. I've made so many friends through YouTube. Like, again, I never did social media, so I didn't really know, like, how this all worked or, what it would be. But it is just amazing what this has turned into. It's completely changed my career, So, and I cannot do it without your support. So, again, thank you for that. But let's see, about 53 minutes. Yeah. Man, this live stream has just been incredible. Thank you, everybody, again, for all the comments and everything. It's just been awesome. The videos have been performing very well as of late. And I've got a bunch more videos coming up, so stay tuned for all of that. I need to get with JD Simo. That just reminds me. It's just been hard with scheduling because I have this pedal board from Drybell Effects, and JD and I were going to get together and do a video and do a demo of this pedal board from Drybell Effects. So I got to try to set something up with that, but it's just been hard, man, with this schedule, because I know he's busy as a player, and he's always on tour and stuff, and I've been super busy too. Just got back from Arizona, and I've just been playing a bunch, so it's just been hard to get the scheduling together, but stay tuned for that. I definitely want to try to do that. So hopefully that'll work out soon. But I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, I've just got a bunch more videos coming up. I mean, I'm just going to be playing a bunch this week and going to be teaching a bunch as well. And I'm going to be going down to Texas this weekend, or next weekend, I mean, which is cool. So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, once again, folks, if you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer. I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep going for. It looks like we still have a pretty okay crowd. you know. But it is about an hour, and man, this is a lot of talking for sure. With doing these live streams. Let's see. It's right here. CZ says here, you got YouTube baptized by school. Yeah, I mean, before I did the videos with Tom, I had already started actually doing videos on YouTube, and I think that's what kind of reconnected Tom and I. I started making videos talking about vintage guitars and just different gear and stuff, and there was so many people that started watching my channel. It was just incredible, and it just kind of worked out. Back at the time, I happened to just stumble into Guitar Center here in Nashville, and these people were trying to sell the 64 Firebird 5 to Guitar Center. And I just so happened to walk in at Guitar Center just randomly. And I walked in to the middle of their dealing, and I ended up with the 64 Firebird 5. But before I bought it, I was talking with Tom about it because I know that, he loves those. And I wasn't really too familiar with those, to be honest with you. So I was kind of asking him some questions, and I ended up getting the guitar, and I went over to his house, and that was the first video that we did, and it did incredibly well. It was a really cool shootout, and it was totally unplanned. I could not have planned that out at all. I just stumbled into Guitar Center just randomly because I happened to be in Berry Hill, and I ended up with that guitar. It was just wild. But the video did really well. So, it was fun. But let's see. Jimmy says here, hey, bro, you do a great job. Very refreshing to have a young cat like you so committed to vintage and old school stuff and have the talent to back what you say. Great channel. Thanks so much, Jimmy. Man, that really means the world to me, man. Seriously, thank you. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, I love this stuff, I've always loved cool old vintage guitars, man. And I knew from a very early age, like, man, these instruments are so much better than these reissue guitars that I was playing. Even back when I was like really young, I just could never afford this stuff, so I had to kind of work my way up and, mow yards, back when I was a kid. And, I'd have to do whatever I could, man, to make extra money to try to buy these old guitars. And, I never thought that the vintage guitars would get this expensive, I never thought we'd be talking this kind of money for this stuff. I just bought these guitars because I just loved them. I just love old Fenders and old Gibsons, and especially old Gibsons. I absolutely love Gibson instruments from Kalamazoo. I just absolutely love them. And, I just started buying up stuff, since I was a kid, just out of the pure passion and the love of the instrument. I never set out to like make a profit on this. I just bought it because I just love this stuff, But it is just amazing how much this stuff has gone up in value. It's just been incredible. But yeah, I think that's what's cool, is there's a lot of people that watch me, and the people like to get my opinion, because I'm also a player, and I think that's the thing that's really lacking from YouTube. There's not really a lot of actual players, A lot of these guys are just like bedroom guitar players, They don't do this for a living, They're not an actual professional musician. They just make videos. And, there's a lot of guys that are very good at making a video. For me, I've had to really learn how to make a video. I didn't know anything about lighting or cameras and all this shit that you need for this. So it's taken me a lot of time to figure all this stuff out. But, I've gotten a lot better at it. So again, thanks so much for the cool comment, Jimmy. I really do appreciate it. Let's see here. Matt's in the house. Hey, Matt, what's going on, man? How are you? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, yo, Justin, thinking about switching from amps and pedal board to quad cortex. I'm a live touring country guitarist. Thoughts, experience. Man, there's a lot of guys that are using those things. I personally don't like them. I think the only thing that is cool about them is that they're very small and that you can throw them into a backpack or something. But for me as a guitar player, it's nowhere near as dynamic as playing a real tube amp or something analog, and for me, I'm a very dynamic guitar player, as I've talked about. So anything that changes up the interaction with the guitar volume knob and my overall guitar sound, that really bothers me. It really, really bothers me. And, for me, I like playing a tube amp. I like feeling the speaker and I like moving air and feeling the guitar sound behind my back and through a wedge and through side fills and stuff. And, of course, you could have the guitar come up in a wedge and through side fills with the quad cortex, but it's a different experience, and it's not the same thing as what you hear on stage with your amp and just the weight of the guitar and being able to go up to your amp and get the feedback and everything. And, that experience and fighting the guitar and getting this feedback, that's what I love about playing guitar. I think those amp modelers really take the fun out of playing electric guitar. It's just that whole experience is so different in comparison to playing a loud ass Marshall on stage, So for me, I just don't really like those things, I don't like the effects and I don't like the drive sounds on those. Like there's this harsh top end thing that I hear whenever I play a digital amp like that. And it just really bothers me too, and I'm so sensitive to that stuff, man. I'm very, very tone dependent. If the tone is not right, I'm not going to play the same, man. And my ears are really sensitive to that. If something is not right with the sound, something's not right with the tone, it really bothers me as well, and I get in my own head and, I just play different, and, man, that's what I just don't like with those quad cortex or Kempers or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I don't like that stuff, man. It's a totally different experience. And, I get it. I mean, I can make them work and that's fine. They're very convenient. They're very small. You could throw them into a backpack and, I can make anything work. And as a professional musician, you should be able to make anything work. It doesn't really matter about the gear. You need to be able to play these parts. You need to be able to perform and put on a show with whatever gear that you have. But if I always have it my way, man, I would much rather just use a Marshall, or a Fender. So let's see here. CZ says here, cool. What a cool comment, Jimmy. Right on. Yeah, definitely. Thanks again, Jimmy. Really appreciate that. That was a very, very nice comment. But man, we have a great crowd here today. Thanks everybody so much again for being here. I really do appreciate it. If you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box and, I'd be happy to answer. If you guys would like to support me in this channel, again, check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. There are many ways you can support me here in this channel. If you want to throw a little love in the Venmo or the PayPal tip jar, or even a super chat here in today's live stream, any and all support again is really, really appreciated. I do offer one-on-one online lessons as well. And, my personal email is linked down below in the description box. And while you're down there, check out all of the other links that I have down there. There are so many ways you can support me here in this channel. And I really, truly do need your support to continue on doing this. I cannot do this without you guys. So again, thank you. Let's see. Matt says here, yeah, man, makes sense. Trust me, I agree with you. I love amps. I love moving air. I love it all. But I hate dragging shit around. And when I do fly dates, it'd be easier. Thanks, bro. Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. But it's like, I mean, is it really that big of a deal to haul a deluxe reverb or a 212 and a Marshall? Like, just to me, I don't that doesn't really bother me that much. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, if you're having to walk and hike with the gear, downtown or something, and you're having to walk like a fucking mile or something with a Bogner 212, okay, I could understand that. But I don't know, man. I mean, just to load into a club or to a venue, I don't know, man. It doesn't really bother me. A lot of people say that. I hear that all the time. Like, oh, I hate, dragging the amps or whatever around it. It's like, I don't know, man. It does not really bother me, to be honest. But for fly dates, I could understand that. That totally makes sense, And that's the thing with those quad Cortex. Again, you can throw them into a backpack. So that's kind of the thing that is pretty cool with that, Fly dates are just a challenge, They just always are, man. And especially flying out of Nashville, it's become such a pain in the ass to fly out of Nashville now because TSA has to hand inspect every single instrument that goes through there if you're carrying on the guitar. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Like, of all airports, you're going to put in these new security machines that cannot even fit a effing guitar in Nashville. Like, that just blows my mind, man. Like, I just can't believe that. So, for me with the fly dates, I just check the guitar. I have these Calton cases, which are expensive as all hell, but they are like indestructible, man. I mean, they're just absolutely amazing, amazing cases. And what I like about those Calton cases is that they're like the size of an actual guitar case, but they're indestructible. Now, there's some other cases that a lot of bands use, and they use these SKB I-Series cases. But the problem is with those cases that they are so ginormous, and they are actually technically oversized. And I have had this happen to me. I was playing out in Vegas, and I was flying back to Nashville, and they charged me oversized with using one of those SKB I-Series because if you actually physically measure, you take out a tape measure and you add up the total dimension of that case, they will find out that it is over 62 inches and they will charge you oversized. So that's what I don't like with those SKB I-Series cases. And that's why I like the Calton cases because they're basically like the size of an actual guitar case. So you'll never run into that. You'll never have the issue of getting charged oversized. But, again, going back to the Nashville airport situation, I have just gotten to this point where I just say, the hell with it. I check the guitar in the Calton case and my suitcase, and I just walk through the airport with a backpack, and that's it. But fly dates are very tough because you're relying on backline. So, sometimes it makes a lot of sense to have a quad Cortex or a Kemper or one of these things. So I get it. Let's see here. We have a super chat here from Scott from South Carolina. Thanks so much, Scott. Really appreciate that. Have a drink on me. I will, definitely. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Had some fun last night, man. I went out into the town, man, and I was sipping on some tequila sodas, man. This is one of my favorites, one of my go-tos, and I'll probably have another one of them today. I've been trying to, cut back a bit on the drinking, But it's just hard, man. It's hard, being here in Nashville, man. I mean, there's just so many bars, and I always have a friend playing somewhere, a musician friend of mine playing somewhere here in town, and it's like, oh, where's it at? It's at a bar. So it's like, well, fuck, like, I guess I'm going to have a fucking tequila shot, So it's kind of tricky, but let's see here. Where the hell was I? Thanks again, Scott, for the super chat. Seriously, I really do appreciate that. Fuck. Here we go. Grayson's in the house. Hey, Grayson, what's going on, man? How are you? Nice to see you. Another great student of mine. Grayson says here, where do you go in Nashville to maintain your vintage tube amps and keep them reliable enough to gig with? So the only guy that I trust here in Nashville is Todd Sharp. I really like his work, man. He really does amazing work. Everybody has a different experience with these amp guys, but if you want it to be done right and you really want it to be working for a long time, take it to Todd Sharp. There are, other amp techs that I have tried in the past, and, they're all hyped up and everybody talks about how great they are. But then it's like you take the amp out on the road and it's still fucked up after I just paid $200 or whatever to have it, or $300 to have it serviced, I have never had an issue with anything that Todd has worked on for me. He does great work. There's another guy, Michael Fawn, that also does really good work. He used to work for Todd, but now he is doing his own thing now. So he does a really good job too. And he just started up a new business. I can't remember what he's calling it off the top of my head, but Michael's a really good guy too. He's really cool, man. He does great work as well. Him and Jeremy. But the rest of the guys, man, I've just had a lot of issues, and there's a lot of guys that really are hyped up, man, and they're just not as good as Todd, in my opinion, or Michael, or Jeremy. But let's see. Jimmy says here, with cats like Tom, GT, Jed, and you, Nashville has become the guitar crossroads of the planet. Not really a social media guy. I'm thankful it hipped me to the Nashville community. That's awesome, man. Wow, thank you. That's so nice, man. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, man, to be, in that group, man, that is definitely super nice, man. Seriously, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, Jed's a great player. Tom, Guthrie, I mean, those guys are amazing for sure. So, thanks so much for including me in that group, man. That's really cool, I've worked very hard, man, on my playing, and I don't really practice a whole hell of a lot, because I just play so much nowadays, with all these gigs and stuff. But man, I'm really happy with my playing. I think my ears are so dialed in, man. I can hear everything, I just hear something on the radio or, in passing, and it's like my ears are just so dialed in. I can hear all the changes. I can hear and create and improvise, and I just feel so good with my playing now, man. I honestly, I'm really happy with it. But thanks so much for the great comment, man. I really appreciate it. Let's see. The Sound Purist is in the house. Hey, man, what's going on? How are you? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, that's true. Even for me, I like connection with the sound. It's noticeable when you close your eyes and slide your fingers until it gets to the notes. Latency, absence of harmonic sustain sucks. Yeah, definitely. And it's so important, man. You have to feel comfortable with your sound, and there's a lot of people that don't understand this, they don't know what that feeling is like, where you're on stage and, you close your eyes, and you bend that one note and the tuning and the tone is just dead on, man. It's perfect. It is just a unbelievable feeling that not many have experienced. And for me, it's so important, I need to have a great sound, if, the sound is not right, if the tone is not right, it really bothers me, but man, when the sound is just right and you're on stage, man, and you're playing to a room full of people and you go in for that one note and you bend that note and you close your eyes and you just, the tone, the tuning, everything is perfect. It is the best feeling ever, man. And, with those digital modelers, man, I've never experienced that ever. Normally, if I'm playing a deluxe reverb or a Marshall or something like this, and I hear the amp behind me, I hear it coming from the wedge, the side fills, and I have a room full of people I'm playing to, man, it's just perfect. And that feeling is so hard to describe. And not very many people have ever actually experienced this before. And it depends on the kind of player you are too. There's a lot of amateur players out there that don't know what a good tone is. They just don't. Their ears are not good. They can't hear this stuff. And, they say they're an expert. They talk all this shit, but they're really not, they have no idea what the hell they're hearing whatsoever. So that's another big part of this too, is there's just a lot of amateur players that just, they can't hear this stuff, and they just don't know. So let's see here. CZ says here, my last experience at the Nashville airport was not favorable. Damn, that sucks. Yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot. I mean, when I first moved here, 10 years ago, man, that airport was so small. There was like just nothing there, it was super easy. And it was just great for a musician, but it has changed a lot, man. I mean, that shit with the, machines for carrying on the guitar. I mean, I just cannot believe, that those guitars cannot fit through those machines. They always used to, always. And it was so easy back in those days. But now it's just such a pain in the ass. It just sucks. So it's unfortunate. But let's see. Jimmy says here, tone dependent for sure. I've been burned by backline amps, but always looking for solutions that work. Yeah, it really depends. With the backline thing, you never really know what the hell you're going to get. So, it's kind of a crapshoot. Jimmy says here, I put wheels on everything these days. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to have casters, like that comment I was talking about, like, with hauling the stuff to these gigs. I mean, I get it. It obviously is heavy and stuff, but man, just throw some casters down. And man, I mean, it's not that big of a deal to haul this stuff. It's just not. Anthony's in the house. Hey, Anthony, what's going on? How are you? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, hey, greetings from Dublin, Ireland. Wow, man. Awesome. Another person from Ireland. All right, cool. I'd love to go out there, man. I've never been. That'd be really cool. Let's see. Scott says here, have you played with Tal Wilkenfeld? I don't know. She is showing up on a bunch of Nashville videos. Yeah. So no, I haven't personally, but I've seen that. Actually, I just remembered this, that JD was actually playing with her, I think, just recently at the Underdog. They were doing some festival. So, but yeah, no, I'm not too familiar with her, to be honest. So. Let's see. Anthony says here, do you get much opportunity to use your Marshall Jubilee much in sessions? So I don't have the Marshall Jubilee anymore. I actually had to get rid of it for my 61 335. So I no longer have that amp. And I've actually really downsized my amp collection, to be honest with you. I've sold off every single Plexi panel Marshall now at this point. I just recently sold the 100-watt Super Lead. But, I still have the pinstripe Marshall cabinet. I have the basket weave cabinet over there. It's actually, oh yeah, it is. Okay, it's actually out of the camera. But it's over there. That's a 69 basket weave cabinet, 412. And then that's a 64 deluxe reverb. And then that's a Samson era matchless DC30. You could maybe see it a little bit there. It's right there. But yeah, I don't have that Silver Jubilee anymore. That's a great amp though. It's really cool. I think if you're going for that like 80s rock tone, man, that's pretty much like the sound for sure for that. I think those amps are way better than the JCM 800s, man. It's just night and day difference. I mean, those JCM 800s are not good sounding amps, man. I don't like those honestly at all. I mean, I know there was a lot of records done with those and stuff, but man, I think the Jubilee in comparison, it just blows it away, man. I mean, the JCM 800s are okay. They're okay, but they're not great, man. I think the Silver Jubilee, it just blows it away, honestly. And, I know actually Bonamassa is using those too. A couple years back, I was able to go to his sound check in Columbus, Ohio, and I took my family out and stuff, and, I was checking out his rig and stuff, and he's got like 4 of them. He had like, I think it was like 2 silvers and 2 black Jubilees. Which, I mean, they're the same thing. It's just the silver is like, a little bit more collectible. But, man, Bonamassa got a great tone out of those, I think, honestly, Joe could do the entire show with his Les Paul and that amp, and that's it. I don't think he needs all the, Dumbles and, tweeds and all this stuff, man. I think, honestly, if he just had a Silver Jubilee and a 412 cabinet and his Les Paul and a couple pedals or whatever effects he needs, man, that's it, man. Send it. Joe's a great guy, a great player. He was super nice, man. He hooked my family and I up with this backstage sound check experience, and I got to see them sound check, and got to hear his guitar tone on stage, and they gave us great seats at the show, man. So that was really cool, and just a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun, and my friend Dave was teching for him at the time. He's out with Luke Bryan now, teching for him, but at the time he was with Joe, and he's a really good guy too. Big D is what he goes by. Great guy. But wow, we've been going an hour and 20 minutes. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, man, these live streams just fly by, man. It's unbelievable. Once again, thank you guys so much for all the support. I really do appreciate it. If you guys would like to support me in this channel, check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. There are many ways you can support me here in this channel. If you guys want to throw a little love in the Venmo or the PayPal tip jar, or even a super chat here in today's live stream, any and all support is really appreciated once again. And if you are interested, I do offer one-on-one online lessons. I teach people from all over the world, and it's all shot in a 4K camera, and it's all pro audio. You're actually seeing and hearing the exact setup that I use for these online lessons. So for more information on this, hit me up at jkm4231@gmail.com. That is my personal email, and it's also linked down below in the description box. And while you're down there in the description box, there are many ways that you can support me in this channel, so be sure to check out all of that stuff as well. Let's see, what time is it? 12:51. I'll probably go here for a little bit, but if you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer. Stay tuned. I have a bunch more videos coming up soon. These videos have just been performing so well here lately. It's just been absolutely incredible. And I need to get together with JD Simo at some point. We're going to be doing... we talked about doing this at least months ago now at this point, but it's just been hard with the schedule, because he's really busy as a player, and I've been playing a bunch too and doing my thing, and it's just been hard to cross paths with doing this pedal board video. Drybell Effects sent me a pedal board a while back, and we need to do a demo of this board. So we're going to eventually film that. We got to get that going, but stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for a bunch more videos that I'm going to be posting. I have a bunch of really cool content, and I have another really busy week just playing a bunch, and I'm just really, really excited about the future with this channel, man. It's just been amazing. It's completely changed my career. But let's see here. John says here, really enjoyed today's chat. Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much, John. Really appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for being here. Very, very loyal supporter there. And Scott is another very loyal supporter. And he says here, they said Ace Frehley had hearing loss. Is that a concern of yours? I'm very careful with my hearing. I always wear in-ear monitors. Regardless if I'm, using a wedge or if I am actually using the in-ear monitors themselves. They're a great earplug, on stage. So I always wear them on stage just to protect my hearing. And if I am using the actual ears for the monitoring, I'm always very cautious in how loud I have the pack, because, man, that can really hurt, man. Like, if you have the pack way up and there's any kind of, little feedback or some kind of RF or something that you hear, man, it can really hurt your hearing. So I'm very cautious of that. I could see with Ace, him having hearing loss, because, excuse me, back in the day, they were just cranking up amps, man, and just, those concerts were so loud back in those days, man. It's just crazy. And it's always a concern, man. You're in loud environments all the time as a musician. So it's always something that I think about, and I try to be very careful with my hearing, because my hearing is just everything, man. My ears are everything. So, great question. But, yeah, folks, we have a great crowd here. I think that's about it. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. But, again, folks, thanks so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. It means so much to me. Once again, if you guys would like to support me here in this channel, check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. There are many ways you can support me. These live streams are a donation of time, so I really need your support to continue on. So be sure to check out all of those links down below. If you are interested in one-on-one online lessons, hit me up. My email is jkm4231@gmail.com. And check out all of the other links that I have down below there. But that is all for today, folks. I really do appreciate it. Come on back and join me next Sunday. I'll be going live answering your questions once again. Thanks so much for being here. Take care. We'll see y'all next time.